Hi, my name is Mohammed. I come from the capital of Syria, Damascus. I'm 20 years old now, and I've been in Denmark for just about a year. It took around 3 years for me to get from Syria to Denmark. I'm now hoping and waiting for my family to come. Before the war, living in Syria was nice, and there were no sorts of destruction, and I lived with my mother, father, 3 siblings, grandmother, and grandfather. But then the war in Syria started, and it became too dangerous to stay in Syria. So we decided to run to Denmark. We chose Denmark because we had heard there was a thing here called family reunion. We started off by paying some people in Syria for a trip to Lebanon, our first stop on our escape. We stayed in Lebanon for about a year. And then we went to Egypt, where we spent 14 months. The thing was, only me and my dad were able to go on the dangerous travel from Lebanon to Egypt, so the rest of our family stayed in Lebanon. I still miss them. After about 6 to 7 months, me and my father went back to Lebanon by airplane. And then we went to the Greek region, Arcadia. From Arcadia, we drove to Libya. We were 50 people in a single minibus where we had to stay for 13 hours with no stops. We couldn't stop at any point because what we were doing was illegal, and we couldn't take the risk of the authorities finding out. And to top it all off, we had almost nothing to drink, and the only one I knew around was my father. In Libya, we stayed in a villa where we lived with 300 other refugees. We stayed there for 10 days, never knowing when we were supposed to leave with the boat. We had each paid $1,000 to get on the first boat after 10 days. When the boat came, there weren't any room for us after all, so we had to wait another 10 days. And once again we had to pay $1,000 each to try and get on the next boat. The thing was, we were never certain when we would travel any further. Lots of other refugees got stuck in different places. As an example, some people never got away from Libya on the boat, so there's always a risk of not getting any further. Nothing is really guaranteed. We'll only take some precautions, such as asking people who's already taken the journey for advice, such as who's to be trusted and who's not to be trusted. After 10 hours of sailing, we got picked up by the Italian Coast Guard. And then we spent 2 days in Italy. Then we were finally able to get to Denmark, where we arrived in Sandholm camp. My father has been trying to get our family reunited since then, and I'm really hoping they'll come to Denmark soon. But authorities says that it could be around 2 more years before they even get an answer. Me and my father got permission to live in the same city, though not in the same house, since we arrived together, and we're both living in Bones now. It's very strange to live in Denmark, and even stranger when I think about my home country, my old friends. I do miss my old friends and my hometown. Being in Denmark is great, though. And now I've started studying here in Denmark, and I have a couple of lectures in Danish each week. I'm now dreaming of being a gardener and making my own history here in Denmark.